So we're back. We had closed the early part of the workshop to have some labor negotiations. And so now we're back to talk about the ambulance fund. And then also we'll be following that up with some discussion of domestic partnership ordinance. And so the ambulance fund, who's going to be talking about that?
That's why he's the big one.
Your Honor, members of the council, Gail Baldwin will be going first, and then I have some stuff to follow up with her and
So we have a little momentary free time.
you do.
And are you limping?
Old pro football injury.
I see.
Please.
From being stuck in the chairs out in the lobby.
Must be workers' comp.
Get our annual building test for the
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I only seem to have half of it. Oh, there it is. You put that in your shredding envelope.
Mayor and Council, Fire Chief and I are just going to go through the ambulance service fund a little bit and tell you a little bit about what's going on. And what we're looking for is direction on where you want to go with rate increases and how you want to deal with the deficit in the ambulance service fund. If you want to try and amortize that deficit over a number of years or something to try and get rid of it. The history with the ambulance service fund is the fund was set up in 2005 to account for all the cost of ambulance service. What we're trying to do is set rates at a level sufficient to cover all the costs. Excuse me. Prior to that, it was all billed through the general fund, and we had two separate rates, resident and non-resident rates, because we were subsidizing ambulance service with property taxes. So residents got a little bit lower rate because there was a property tax subsidy at the time. Gotta catch my breath here. Maybe run in here.
Made you run out.
Very exciting stuff. The also, so the fund was established in 2005 to try with the intent to set rates sufficient to cover all the costs. In 2002, there was a Medicare law that was established that required us to accept assignment, which meant Medicare set a reimbursement rate, and that's all we were allowed to collect on those bills. I have a schedule in there that shows the 2009-2010 Medicare allowed rates compared to the city approved rates. There is a huge difference. The Medicare reimbursement is not covering the cost of a run. They're just too low. So we have to absorb that with the rest of our fees. The annual cost of the program varies, and then the uncollectible amounts from other things other than the Medicare write-offs that we have to do, that varies. Bankruptcies, deaths, things, I mean, there's always things that we can't collect, and we don't know those figures until after the fact. We switched over to using Transmedic, an outside billing company, to handle our billing in November of 2008. I have a schedule in here showing the collection rates from 2003 to 2009. What I did is I looked at the gross billings from every year and then what the final write-offs were for those years. 2008 and 2009, we have not completed the final write-offs, so those numbers are subject to change yet. These don't compare. If you look at the actual report I did on the ambulance service fund, you'll see that the revenues over the years don't compare to this because there's timing differences. Just because we do a run and have the bill in 2006, we may not collect on that for a couple years down the line. What my schedule shows are the gross billings for the year, the runs that year, and the write-offs that eventually happened related to those runs. So the two schedules won't compare because of timing differences. Yep.
Kathy?
This is probably an elementary question, but I do not recall. Are the Medicare rates that are allowed